I'm going to start this yoga class in easy cross-legged Sukhasana. Now if you're a little bit like me and tight into the hips and the lower back, you can sit up on a block or a nice firm cushion or two, and that's going to make it much more comfortable for your hips and your lower back. I also like to have something underneath my right knee. I'm fairly tight on the right side into the right hip. And so you just want to play around and just find ways of making yourself comfortable. Well, I want you to think about reaching the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Start to get a little bit of length through the spine. So imagine a little cushion between each vertebra. And get some space between the hips and ribs. Now you can close your eyes and just start to turn your focus of attention inwards. And notice your breath. So breathing is something that we just do naturally. We don't normally think about it too much. And most of us don't breathe very efficiently. And just by breathing efficiently and correctly, we can make vast improvements to our health and our posture. And so I want you to relax the belly, because I'm also going to show you how, when you're sitting up nice and tall, when you're sitting correctly or standing correctly, how the core muscles naturally work on that exhalation. So let the belly go, and maybe just place your hand on the belly and breathe into your hand. So as you inhale, you feel your belly push into your hand, and as you exhale, the belly draws back. The pelvic floor lifts, and these are all your core muscles. The diaphragm, as you exhale, pushes back up again to force the air from the lungs. And you want to really make sure that you completely exhale so that we can get rid of all those. It's very detoxifying. We get rid of all the stale air, the toxins lying around in the bottom of the lungs, and the blood, of course. As we breathe, the whole process of breathing, the blood is cleansed again as we breathe out. So the blood takes the nutrients around the body. So we want to make sure that our circulation is working really well. And so we want to make sure that we're breathing fully. So as we breathe in, we want to breathe right to the top of the lungs. Feel the body expand. And as we exhale, remain sitting up nice and tall. And as you exhale, feel how the ribs squeeze back in, the lower belly draws right back, the pelvic floor lifts. So toning our abdominal muscles, our core muscles, working our respiratory system, strengthening our heart and lungs, making our circulation system work more efficiently to detoxify the body, purify the blood. And improving our posture. If we're slumping, we're not going to be able to breathe properly. Having our yoga mudra of knowledge, of wisdom, by having our palms turned up like this, it naturally makes the shoulders roll back, our chest is nice and open for the breath. Our shoulder blades will then be resting nice and comfortably against the rib cage. And so as we sit here breathing, notice how you start to relax. So the breath is energizing, but it's also very relaxing. It has a calming effect on the nervous system, and this will help reduce high blood pressure. So if you suffer from stress and high blood pressure, just spending a few minutes each day like this, breathing deeply, you're going to improve your blood pressure significantly. You're going to reduce your stress levels, and you're going to become a calmer, happier person. So be aware of the peace surrounding you now. Now you can open your eyes. I'm just going to Continue to breathe, but now we're going to be raising our arms all the way up, starting to warm up the shoulders. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. And as we exhale, let's stretch away, bring the hands all the way back down. So we inhale and we lift, and we can look up towards the ceiling, starting to loosen out into the neck, and as we exhale, we can look down to the floor. And so we inhale and we reach and we stretch and we lengthen through the spine. Watch that you don't crowd the neck. And then we exhale and we bring our arms all the way back down. Let's do that one more time. We inhale. And we exhale and we bring our arms back down. So let's take an easy twist now. So we're going to inhale, we're going to raise our arms up. And as we exhale, let's twist to the right. And we're going to hold it right there. Now as we inhale, you can release a little. And as you exhale, let's see if we can move a little bit deeper. No force, don't force it. This should feel comfortable. And just try and keep the hips still to keep it safe for the lower back. So try and make sure you can feel both sit bones. Make sure you don't feel the legs sliding on the mat. So one more exhalation. Then we inhale and we come back to the center. And as we exhale, let's move to the other side. Again, no expectation, no force. We inhale, we release a little. We exhale, we move a little deeper into the twist. And so here we're just giving the kidneys, the liver, the digestive system a little bit of a squeeze, keeping them in good health. Keep the space between ribs and hips. One last time. Mobility for the spine as well, keeping our spine healthy. If you suffer with back pain, yoga is a really good way of managing back pain. We're also going to open up the spine through the sides. So inhale, float the right arm up. Then as you exhale, draw down with the right sit bone. Keep the shoulder away from the ear, bend that left elbow. Let's take a stretch to the side. Inhale, back to the center. And as we exhale, let's take it to the other side. Inhaling back to the center. Of course, if you're breathing faster than me or slower than me, you'll be working at a different pace. That's fine. Just try and keep the breath deep and even. And one last time. Lift the ribs. Rather than slumping over, lift the ribs, coming back to the center. Okay, we're going to further open up the spine. So let's come over onto our hands and knees. Rules when we're on our hands and knees, really very much keeping the wrists underneath the shoulders away from the ears. Look down between your first two middle fingers, knees underneath the hips. So as we inhale, let's lift the tailbone. Let's ease the breastbone forward so that we don't crowd the neck. And then as we exhale, scoop up the belly. Draw the navel to the spine. Bring the chin to the chest, bring the pubic bone to the navel. So we inhale. And we exhale. Watch the lower back. Nice stretch here as we lift the belly, no tension. So as we inhale, you only lift the tailbone to a place that feels good for your lower back. And exhale. Now one last time coming up. So we inhale, reach the breastbone forward. Now this time as we exhale, let's come to a nice straight line, as straight as we can feel. A little bit of tone into the belly now. And we're going to lift the knees just a few centimeters off the mat and hold it there and breathe. This time the breath will be a little bit higher into the rib cage. If you're feeling it too much into the wrist, just come down, sit back onto your heels. Dig deep with the fingertips and the thumbs. And the next time we exhale, we come to downward facing dog. Dig deep with the fingers. Now don't expect to get those heels into the ground here. Main thing is to feel the hips floating up. Relax the neck. As we inhale, we come up onto all 10 toes. You may have to turn those heels out a little to get the little toe. And as we exhale, let's reach. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, reach. Feel the back of the legs getting a stretch. And one more time. Inhaling up. And exhale. And then we're going to walk or step. So if you can't quite reach your feet up to your hands, you can just walk your feet. And I want you to have your feet inside the width of the hips. And I want you to bend your knees. This is really going to wake up your hips and thighs. Make sure that your heels don't lift. We want to feel the body weight evenly on the balls of the feet and the heels, and then just place your hands on your thighs, press your shoulders back. Now we don't want the tailbone to be lifting like this, but equally we don't want to have a curve through the spine. Again, we're looking for a nice neutral position. Draw back a little bit with the belly here as well. And then if you wish, you can bring your hands to the heart. You can drop a little bit more. The back should be comfortable, the knees should be comfortable. Then if you're able, we're right here into mighty pose or fierce pose. So drop those sit bones back onto the diagonal. As soon as this gets too much for you, please just come into a forward fold by bringing the fingers down to the ground and stretching the legs. So the next time we exhale, we're going to do that anyway. So fingers down. Lengthen the spine and then lift the hips. Don't expect to get your legs straight, especially early in the class. Just let the weight of the head lengthen the neck. Let the weight of your upper body lengthen the spine. You're still right on top of both feet. And the next time we inhale, ease off on the knees a little, press down through the feet and stretch all the way up. And as we exhale, let's just bring the hands to the heart and let's turn. And we're up towards the left side of our mat. So we're going to take a balance now. We've got a few standing postures before we come back down to the floor. Balance is really to focus the mind. So I want you to think about taking the body weight on the left foot. And I want you to just turn your right knee out. Now, just by turning the right knee out, you're likely to hollow out into the lower back. So again, drop the tailbone down. Here, just drop the pelvic floor. Mula Bandha. It's drawing the pelvic floor up, not just squeezing. Okay, now from here, we can start to slide our foot up. Now in the books, you'll see people with their heel right into the groin. You can do that if you wish, or you can simply just slide your foot up until it comes to rest. You can go no further. Don't push into the knee. Just rest very lightly. Keep the knee wide. Bring the hands to your heart. Look at something that isn't moving. So balances are very challenging, and you want to really use that left leg. Now think about the posture, ribs lifting, shoulders dropping. If you wish, you can take your arms above your head, stretch the elbows wide. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders, come out of posture anytime you need to. Remember the breath, breathe. Any pressure on your lower back, think about whether you've let your tailbone stick out behind you. So we're going to bring our hands back down. We're going to rest them on our hips, and we're going to stretch that right foot all the way out to the right edge of the mat. And we can wiggle our foot further and further and further and further and further. Eventually we're going to have this thigh bone parallel to the mat. Long outside edge of the foot parallel to the short edge of the mat. These right toes facing the short edge of the mat. Dig deep with the feet. Okay, now we just want to almost shift the hips to a more centered position. Our ribs floating above our hips. Warrior two. Virabhadrasana. Drop the shoulders a little bit lower. Now, any pressure in your knees, just think about whether you're reaching with the long outside edge of that foot, that left foot, and the right knee, push it wide, stay off the instep. We have a tendency to move forward here, so the tailbone drops down to the mat. We drop that left hip. Deep breaths. Dig deep with the feet will want to slide away. This is almost as though we're trying to draw our feet towards each other. Please take humble warrior now. So interlace your fingers behind your back, just like this, behind your back. Please watch your shoulders and elbows here. I'm going to inhale, I'm going to stretch my arms all the way out as I lift the breastbone. And then as we exhale, digging deep with the feet, let's come down, lift the belly a little. This is very hard work, so please release your arms if it's too much for your shoulders or elbows. And you can always bring your fingertips down to the mat. A little bit of a lift of the belly. You've probably pushed it out by now. Reach the hands to the ceiling, breathe. Still digging deep with the feet, and as we inhale, let's come all the way back up, release, shake out. Turn your right foot forward now, so your feet are parallel. If this is too much for your knees, you can always turn your toes out. You can keep the knees soft. Hands on your hips, dig deep with the feet, watch the knees as you almost try and draw those thighs towards each other. We're going to inhale, lift the heart, and as we exhale, let's come down to a parallel line. I'm just going to rest my fingertips on the mat. Now, if you can't get your feet wide enough here because of the inside thigh or the back of the thigh, you can always rest your hands on blocks. So a block like this, if your feet are a little bit closer together, or you can take your feet further apart if you have that flexibility. Okay. From here, I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to stretch it out. And then as I exhale, I'm going to turn into a twist. Don't move your hips. So digging deep with the feet, your hips are going to want to shift to the left, draw them back nice and centered. Now you'll probably rock back onto your heels as well, so let's make sure that you can really feel both legs doing their fair share of the work. Your arm, try not to take it out behind you, it's directly up. And we turn the chair, so we roll that left shoulder back. Breathing deeply. And then as we exhale, let's bring that hand back down. Remember, you can always come out of posture anytime you need to. We reach, we stretch, we lift. And we breathe, so the hips are going to want to turn with the chest. Bring those hips to the center. Reach for the ceiling and turn. Come back to the breath. A lift of the belly here to help keep those hips stable, support the lower back. We do that by drawing up the pelvic floor, engage Mula Bandha. Breathing, and then as we exhale, let's bring that hand down. Okay, bring your hands onto your hips, and as we inhale, let's lift all the way up to the top. Let's take a step now to the right edge of our mat. So a little bit of a bounce in. And we're going to do all this on the other side now. So when you're ready, think about the left leg turning out. You want to make sure you've got your balance, so right leg strong, think about your posture. And then when you're ready, you can start to bring that foot up to wherever it's going to stay, without you having to jam your foot in against the leg. You can have your hands to prayer in front of the heart. You might find that you balance much better one side than the other. You try and keep both sides of the body nicely lengthened, and then if you want to bring your arms up, go ahead. Try not to crowd the neck. Press the knee a little bit wider, but make sure the tailbone doesn't pop out behind you. Again, using the core muscles here will really help with your balance. Relax neck and shoulders and face. Let's bring our arms back down. Let's take a big step out now to the left. And again, just wiggling your foot out. Don't worry if you are only here, that's fine. It takes a while for all the muscles and joints to give. So let's start to wiggle that foot a little bit closer to the edge. Keep the knee wide. This hip, we just need to drop it so that both hip bones are level and the ribs are in line. We've got a nice long waist, and as we inhale, dig deep with the feet and almost pull those feet towards each other. Drop the shoulders. Shoulder blades sliding down into your back pockets then. Those feet will want to slide apart. You'll see your mat stretching. Find the edges of the feet, otherwise you'll feel a pulling on the inside of the right knee. And keep that left knee wide. Draw your head back, nice, proud, strong warrior. Now let's interlace the hands behind the back, watch your shoulders and elbows, and let's inhale. And as we exhale, digging deep with that front foot, coming down to humble warrior, lift of the belly. And so as we inhale, push yourself back up using that foot. And this time we're going to turn, take care of that back knee, and then we stretch the leg back. We're going to lower the body down, so you can bring your knees down first if you wish. If you're feeling strong, just lower your body down. We have our legs inside the width of the hips. You can turn your toes out slightly if it's more comfortable. Roll your shoulders back, lengthen through the arms. I prefer to have my hands facing my body. Draw the belly back, press down through the pubic bone and both ends of the body. As we inhale, stretch away. And both ends of the body will float up. Now, rather than trying to lift the legs, all you have to do is stretch and they will lift. Some of you will have a lot of extension. You'll be able to come up much higher than me. But there should never be any pain in your back, so take care, listen to your body. And breathe. And then exhale. So we're going to bring the hands by our ribs. Tuck your toes. Those of you who want a little bit more of a challenge, you can come straight up to plank. Or just bring the knees down and sit back. 3 breaths. Coming through, sitting down with the knees bent. Navasana, strong abdominal muscles really go a long way to help your posture and protect your lower back. Navasana is quite a challenging posture. We're going to start just by holding behind our thighs. The most important thing here is to make sure you don't just sag. We want to try and keep the length through the spine. Draw up the pelvic floor, draw back the belly. Inhale, and as we exhale, just tuck the tailbone slightly and then lean back. So keep nice and open across the shoulders and the chest. As we exhale, let one leg float up. As we exhale, let that second leg float up. We've got a little bit of balance here as well. If you can let go, take your hands. If you need your hands to help you, go ahead and do so. Some of you will be able to get your legs nice and straight. And don't forget to breathe. Draw the belly back. With your feet in your lower back, please come out of posture. You'll probably notice you start to shake after a little while. Don't let the belly pop out, pull it back. Okay, well done. So, sitting now in easy cross-legged for a moment. Cow face is quite a challenging posture for those of us who are tight into the hips, thighs, lower back. But it's a really good one for stretching out those areas. And we're also going to be doing something for the arms to keep the shoulders nice and mobile. So do what you can here. Again, sit up on cushions or blocks. We're going to bring the right leg right the way under. We're going to take the left leg all the way over, as I can see the soles of my feet, both feet. Now, ideally, we would have the left sit bone all the way down on the ground. So if you think that you're sitting on your foot and that's stopping you, then move your foot. Some of us just aren't going to have our sit bone down. Eventually, one day, we might. And then just take a moment to try and loosen out a little bit and breathe. Now we try and relax, and you'll be surprised actually at how much tension you're still holding in your legs here. Let's raise our right arm up, take it down between the shoulder blades. Let's ease the elbow back, and then those of you who can, reach up behind, interlace the fingers, so link those fingers. Now if you can't, you can always dangle a belt or a tie or something like that down between your shoulder blades and work your fingers ever closer together, or simply do what we did in the first place and push your elbow gently back with your left arm. Now I can feel that I'm shorter on my left side, and that's what I'm going to be working at, is just dropping that left sit bone down a little bit more. Some of you will have no daylight between your knees, you lucky people who are nice and mobile through the pelvis. So sitting up nice and tall, and those of you who want more of a challenge, really let go as you exhale and ease forwards, a little bit more weight on those legs. And so let's release. Let's circle out the shoulders a few times. And let's switch sides. So this time it's the left leg. Bring it right over. The knee ideally would be fairly centered. The right leg is going to come over. You'll notice a difference in the two sides of the body. Most of us will. It's these imbalances that we're trying to iron out. These imbalances are often what cause issues with the back. So once you feel that you're in a reasonably comfortable position, manageable at least, take your left arm up, take the fingers down between the shoulder blades, ease back right here. And then if you're able, link your fingers. And again, you might find one side you could, the other side you can't. But with practice, the two sides of the body gradually open up. So with each exhalation, lengthen a little bit more through the spine, relax a little bit more into the hips and the thighs. And then you can gradually start to let the weight of the upper body stretch those legs, hips, thighs a little bit more. Turn your focus of attention to the breath. And release. Okay, we're going to stretch out the legs and shake it all out for a moment. So, and let's make our way down onto our back. In the easiest, safest, most comfortable way for you. So getting the length through the neck. Bring the feet quite close to your body so that you could perhaps touch your heels. Don't worry if you can't. We're going to lengthen through the arms. We're going to tuck the tailbone and just peel the spine off the mat to give that back a good stretch. Now keep leading with the tailbone and the pubic bone. Almost pull yourself forward slightly so that you don't end up sliding back. You'll feel all the pressure in the neck if you do that. And then if you feel that your lower back is quite comfortable, once you've gone as far as you can go with the hips, you could start to lift higher through the ribs. You can bring yourself higher onto your shoulders again, interlace those fingers, stretch your arms away. You'll probably find that your knees are trying to reach out to the sides like this. Bring them back in. You can come up onto your toes. Breathe. Take the weight off the head, no weight on your head, through your shoulders and your feet. Reach forward with the tailbone and up. So we're going to release and we're going to roll back down through the spine. Bring the thighs up to the chest, just rock from side to side a couple of times. So we're about ready to relax and move into Shavasana. So let's take the feet down to the mat. Now you can take the feet mat width apart and bring the knees together, and that way you'll be able to totally relax without having to use any of your leg muscles to keep your feet in place. If you don't have any back issues and your back is fine and you can stretch your legs out, then please go ahead and do so. We take the feet about mat width apart, if that feels good for us, and our toes just roll out to the side, and if we're able, we want to really make sure that the shoulder blades are comfortably flattened against the rib cage and therefore the mat. So if you turn your palms to the ceiling and take your arms all the way away from the body, then hopefully that will happen. Now some of you will be quite tight across the front of the shoulders, and it's going to be very difficult to keep your arms relaxed without forcing them into position. Just rest your hands on your belly. And so we started with the breath at the beginning of the class, and this is where we end. So take a look at your breath now. Some of you will have found that quite hard work. Some of you might have found it relaxing. Let's breathe deeply, just like we did at the beginning of the class. Nice, slow, deep breaths in, feeling the belly lift, feeling the ribs expand, feeling the breastbone lift and the shoulders stretch. And as we exhale, feel everything sink back down into the mat as we let go and relax. And we try and even up the length of the inhalations and exhalations. And with each exhalation, allow your body to relax a little bit more. Let go of the front of the thigh. Let go of the pelvic floor and the abdominal muscles. Let go of all the muscles in your face now, your jaw, your forehead, your eyelids. So allow every muscle in your body to release and relax as you sink a little deeper into your mat with each exhalation. And today we're just going to do a short meditation on gratitude. So we have good days and bad days, all of us do. We have good patches and bad patches. Sometimes those bad patches can last quite a while and we forget to count our blessings. We forget to be grateful for the good things in our lives. The negative thoughts tend to crowd in, one on top of the other, dragging us down. But if we can just stop for a moment, just pause, take a few minutes each day to count our blessings, we can turn our lives around. Literally, I've seen it many, many times. And the things that we should be grateful for could be the big things in our lives: family, health of ourselves, our families, our good friends. peace in our lives, if we're lucky enough to have that. Sometimes when the really big things in our lives aren't looking so good, there's always something small that happens in our day for which we should be grateful, something that makes us smile. Sometimes an unexpected smile from a stranger, a small act of kindness, somebody helping you with something that you weren't really expecting. The sunrise and the sunset, the beautiful turquoise waters here around Abu Dhabi, the birds singing in the background, the cockerel crowing in the neighbour's garden. A joke maybe that somebody sends you. There's always something if we think. And so I just want you to think of 3 things today for which you are truly grateful. And when things are looking bad, just recall those 3 things. And remember that everything changes. Nothing is forever. So I want you to just breathe, relax, enjoy your relaxed body after your work, and your calm, peaceful mind, and carry this away with you. Namaste.